Hi everyone, Braden here. I want to talk to you today about three major types of muscle contractions. We've got isometric, concentric and eccentric. Before I tell you about these different types of muscle contractions, I want to first tell you a little bit about muscles themselves and how they work. Now, voluntary muscle usually works across a joint, meaning it crosses a joint. It's connected to both bones by strong muscle fibers called tendons, and when the muscle is contracted, usually only one bone moves. For example, we have the bicep. The bicep connects to the shoulder girdle and the forearm. When the bicep brachii contract, the forearm moves. There are usually two connection points for a muscle, an origin and an insertion. The origin part is the part of the joint that doesn't move. The origin is where a muscle joins the stationary bone. The insertion is where it joins the moving bone. During a contraction, the insertion moves closer to the origin. Now, muscles usually work in pairs. For example, the bicep flexes the elbow and the tricep extends it. This movement is called antagonistic muscle action. The working muscle, in this case the bicep, is usually called the agonist muscle or the prime mover. Now, the prime mover or the agonist in this instance of elbow flexion and extension is the bicep. Now, when we contract the bicep, the elbow goes into flexion. This is the agonist movement. The antagonist movement here of the tricep means the tricep should lengthen and relax. Another muscle group that work very similar to this are the quads and the hamstrings. A nice little rule to follow that happens in most muscle contractions is when an agonist contracts, the antagonist relaxes. Now we know a little bit more about the muscles and how they're going to contract. Let's talk about those specific contractions, the isometric, eccentric and concentric contraction. Now, an isometric contraction is a contraction where no movement takes place. This means that if the bicep contracts, the elbow should flex. But if the tricep is producing the same amount of contraction, the arm will not flex or extend. So a concentric contraction is where the muscle length decreases. If there is a load, the muscle contracts in a concentric form, and if the contraction here is greater than the load, the insertion and the origin will come closer together. Now, the eccentric part of this is where it actually gets quite interesting. We're still using the prime mover or the agonist muscle here while we have load, but in this contraction, the muscle increases in length, meaning the insertion and the origin point go further away from each other. The eccentric contraction is a contraction in which the muscle lengthens while it resists a load. So we're still using the agonist muscle as the muscle is lengthening. We're resisting a load and the muscle is lengthening, the insertion and the origin becoming further away from each other. Just a nice easy one today, guys, talking about muscle contractions. I hope that helped. If you do like this video, please consider giving me a like and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks very much, guys.